Greetings, one and all, to the most cursed, most cringiest corner of the internet. A YouTube channel content creator, actively alienating everyone in both the analog and digital world. Well, welcome and good evening, wonderful dice of all alignments. I am Lunar D8. And everyone lived happily ever after. Satoko and Rika-chan were already there waiting for me, while the injuries on her face, covered with band-aids, looked painful. Satoko seemed to be full of life. It almost looked as though her wounds were from playing too hard or something. So, you stayed at the clinic last night? Yes, I told him I was fine, but the coach wanted to keep an eye on me. If that's what the doctor said, then you should listen to him. Ah ha ha ha, I see. You were scared to stay at the clinic alone, weren't you? I heard there are lots of ghosts inside hospitals. Satoko can't sleep without me. How? Why can't you sleep without her? Why? That's because Rika-chama is the only one who can give her comfort. No sooner had Shion finished that sentence than a bucket went flying into her face. Satoko started chasing Shion in circles, like they were playing tag. I really missed this rambunctious fun. I thought I'd never see this again. Yep. That's just smooth sailing from here. Minagoroshi definitely doesn't end with everyone getting brutally murdered, and then Satoko dying at the very end, after watching all of her friends and loved ones brutally murdered in front of her. Yeah, I could just stop playing right here. We could just, everyone could just stay happy. Be like the Undertale, but you refuse to go in the basement. And there's actually other things to do. I felt the same, but we got it back. We did this. I think you did the most. It was your idea to go to the Child Consultation Center, and you were the one who asked everyone for their support. I agree. I think Kei-chan contributed the most. Most people in Hinamizawa know who Keiichi Maura is by now. How is Keiichi-kun going to be a popular guy now, is he? I bet he'll be incredibly popular. I mean, for all like 2 remaining days of life. Popular among old ladies, that is. I really envy him. I'd be fine with that if I could divide their ages by 3. Many people were wearing yukatas. It was still June, but it felt more like it was the middle of summer. Once we finished climbing the stairs, we could see the festival and the crowd enjoying it. The Furude shrine was packed with people, leaving the grounds looking nothing like their usual quiet self. Lanterns of various colors were hung about, and people were pretty sure there's supposed to be a letter R in there. Instead of swarming the various festival booths, giving the whole place an unorganized yet pleasant atmosphere. What a crowd! I had no idea there were even this many people in Hinamizawa. Everyone comes to this festival. I think at least half of the population of the village is here. There's more than just them. The neighboring town councils and youth groups are invited too. I see. We only have a few students in our school. That explains why there are so many kids around today. Hearing the happy cheers of children is the best part of the festival. She's right. I'm in agreement there. There were lots of booths around too. They were by far the best part of the festival. Booths selling takoyaki, yakisoba, shaved ice, apricot candy, sauce senbei, chocolate bananas. There was a yo-yo game, a goldfish game, a shooting gallery. There were countless booths here. Those booth runners all come from the city. You can't call it a festival without festival booths. So we're going to have a battle in front and every one of them, huh? I'm not going to lose today. Yeah, same here. Heh, let's do it. Yellow, sorry I'm late. Am I the last one? Everyone's here now, huh? Once our club gets together, there's no way we can just sit back and enjoy the festival. Of course not. We're doing it again this year. This Watanagashi festival, for the 6 of us, will be the battle of the 6 evils. Satoko, there's no reason to hold back this year. Let's enjoy the festival with all our might. Oh ho ho, you don't even need to mention it. I too declare that I will be the victor. Yay, Satoko! Yeah, Satoko! Satoko! Sudoku! You go, girl. Let's put everything that happened before tonight behind us. Let's play with everything we've got. It's been a good week since we all got together. Yeah, tonight we're all enjoying this festival to its fullest. As we enjoy the festival, many people call out to Satoko. Some of them show concern for her injuries. Some of them express their sympathy, and some of them offer her support. Satoko must have been very happy to hear all that. She says it's strange to see people treating her like this, but I think she's just trying to hide her true feelings. I'm sure she realizes just how much the village changed for her. My. Hello, you all seem to be enjoying yourselves. I feel like I misread that last sentence, but it went by too fast. Hi, Rika-chan. I'm here like I promised. The festival sure has grown into a splendor. Who's this guy? You know him, Rika? Akasaka is never there when I need him. Huh? What are you talking about? Did I do something to make you upset? Nyahahaha. While you were at the hot springs with your wife, things sure got hectic around here. How Rika-chan is talking with some strange older guy. I wonder if he's someone she knows, I wonder. Who is he? Who is he? Introduce him to this old man too. When Akasaka showed up, I'd still believed that fate could be changed through the power of a single hero alone. But that was my mistake. Miracles are not made one person. They can only be achieved by everyone working together. So it was wrong for me to expect him to magically change my fate. Even if he had been here for me, I might not have been disappointed for him to do anything. He didn't do anything wrong, but I acted all bitter towards him anyway. I feel guilty after saying what I did. I really shouldn't act this way anymore. I really should celebrate the fact that after so many years, we're together again. Hey, Mabra boy, I heard what you did. I heard about it too. I heard you fought Oryu-san with a sword until she finally gave in. Good on you. We're making it sound like Duel of Fates from the end of Revenge of the Sith. You know, Star Wars Episode 3. But, am I Anakin or Obi-Wan? I think we have a year and a half till Spaceballs 2 comes out. Side note, I think Hayden Christensen did a great job as Anakin. I didn't do that. We just had a peaceful negotiation. Still, I'm proud of you. You led everyone and actually negotiated with the center. Hey, I'll give you some apricot candy. How many do you want? Wow, Keiichi-kun, you're so popular today. I'm sure Keiichi is into old ladies too. I don't know what Rika's trying to say, and I don't even want to know. Rika, were you talking about yourself there? I mean, you are 100 years old. The people are talking to Keiichi too. The whole village knows about his leadership skills now, especially in how he persuaded Oryu. Everyone had been aware for a very long time that they were only treating Satoko harshly because the tradition forms since the dam conflict. However, Keiichi is the only one who destroyed the cycle, and the people of Hinamizawa, both young and old, see him as a hero. With the whole village talking about Keiichi, of course the auction he hosted ended up being a great success. Though he was shy in the beginning, he put his heart and soul into the show and managed to entertain all the onlookers. I'm sure Keiichi will bring many more good things to this village. The elders especially are glad to see a heroic young man like him, who is later going to have his brains blown out with a gun. Oh, that's that guy who helped us yesterday. Thank you so much for your assistance. I think there's a part where Satoko and Shion are both bound and tied up in the middle of the ground in the forest. And Satoko's looking right at Shion, as Shion's begging for the person who's about to kill her to spare Satoko's life. And right before blowing Shion's brains out of her skull in front of Satoko, she says, the person who kills Shion says, "I'll think about it." Oh, I should have introduced him to you then. This is my Uncle Saburo, who is in the prefectural assembly. This is my other Uncle Ken, and he's in the city council. Sorry that we were late yesterday. We got lost on the way there. Gahahaha. No, you both were a great help. I was really impressed to see the power of elected officials. Well, we're chosen to fight in peace, place of the citizens. I will say this, I'm glad that this novel is not graphic, because I feel that I would feel very sad if I actually saw, actual depiction of Shion's brains, not being here, but over here, and there, and there, and here, and there, and there. Also on Satoko. Of course, we're strong. We're glad Satoko-chan is safe. Talk to us again if there's anything you need. We'll be glad to help. They rubbed Satoko's head while they spoke. Thank you very much. That being said, I'm still glad that we managed to save Satoko from Teppei. And right now, everything's really nice. The story's really, really nice. Everyone's happy. You know, we could just turn off the game right now, and we get the pacifist route. But nope, we're getting the genocide ending in this time around. But hey, the story as of this moment has never been happier and more hopeful than ever before. Which is gonna make what's about to happen all the more tragic. Thank you very much. There are a number of powerful Sonozaki people standing around the main tent. All of them are people who helped us out yesterday. Everyone except Satoko bows out of respect. Until just a few days ago, those people had nothing but terrible things to say about the Hojo family. It was Kiichi, of course, who cleared all that away. I'm sure they regret their rudeness, and I'm also sure they'll never discriminate against Sato again. In fact, they bow to her instead and apologize for all they've done. They promise her that they'll be glad to help her in the future if she ever needs anything. For all 2 days of it. You must be proud of your son. Oh no, it's not really a big deal. Hey, Kiichi. We're here too. Keiichi-kun's parents are here. Good evening. Nice to meet you. I'm Kiichi's Meow Meow Rika. Nice to meet you. My name is Satoko Hojo. So you're Satoko-chan. Such a poor little girl. Look at her face. You can make use of Kiichi if anything happens again. In return, what would you think about modeling for me? Your father reminds me a bit of the coach. Sorry, that's just kind of the person he is. Still, he seems very nice and fun to be around. Keiichi's parents are also here at the festival. Since they're the parents of a hero, they're getting special treatment too. From what Kiichi says, his parents go to parents to get to know the people from the village. His father is telling people that he'll draw a picture if the council needs a poster for anything. Apparently Keiichi's father is such a wonderful artist that people have been tried stealing his work before. I'm looking forward to seeing it someday. This is the best Watanagashi festival I've ever had. Yes, I feel the same way. You've been around a lot longer than me. I mean, yeah, you're 1,000 years old. Plus. Actually, I think she's like, 2,500 years old? If not more. If it's your best one, then it must be mine too. Ow, ow. Still, I think this is the most fun and exciting festival we've had since it became known as the Watanagashi. The Watanagashi festival only became like this just a few years ago, didn't it? It used to be just a boring traditional ceremony that the Furude family held, and before that it used to be something different, more like the things that Takano is interested in. Ow, ow, ow. Sorry. I'll try not to be mean to you today. Let's go have fun, the both of us. It's a special night for both me and you. Hanyu is muttering to herself. We had once seen a world where Shion killed Satoko. Both that horrible world and this fantastic one are the same Hinamizawa. People in this world only know that Hinamizawa is a happy place, but Hanyu and I know the truth. We know that there is tragedy hiding behind only a thin sheet of paper. That's why we can appreciate this world in a way greater than anyone else can. If Kiichi had lost his mind today, it would have never happened. He would have been committing a crime tonight. If it had happened to Shion, she would have done the same, and Retta would have been beaten her to a long shot. The corpse would have been long buried by now, and Mion never lost her mind in any of the worlds. Maybe she didn't have the guts for that? Well, I suppose that's a little mean. There were times when I went on a rampage too, but no matter what, I ended up being killed instead. How pathetic. Either way, it never worked out in any world. We could never get back to our happiness back like that. That's why I gave up, but this time, I was the only one who did it. I didn't get to read that! Again, it only happened because everyone helped each other. I'm not trying to take credit for anything, but that the miracle would happen if I continued not believing it. I would have gotten on the phone and Satoko wouldn't have asked for help. The miracle happened because everyone tried their hardest. If every one of us gave up, the miracle would have vanished in nothingness. It was Kichi even told me how it is to change your fate. I'm worried that if I click the next button, it'll be right as it loads new text. If there's a meaning to Kichi's existence here, it might be some kind of message. Thanks to him, I know now what it means to fight against fate, but how? I'll never give up and accept my fate again. This is the opposite of what Hanyu wants me to think, but I'll be sure that Hanyu can make a miracle happen too if she stops giving up and starts believing. Yeah, I even told her so, but she just goes, ow, ow, and avoids the subject. You know, there are additional anime versions of this game. One where Mion does actually go insane, strangles Shion, and does go around killing. Then again, there's a lot of what-if scenarios that exist in the manga that are very, 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 very dark. Basically, everyone kills everyone. You received a new tip! A discolored notebook. The rally. Is it really okay to call this a miracle? It reminds me of this video I did. Game 3 of the Perfect Apocalypse trilogy. Oh, Toodles! It's a surprise tool. It's a knife. This'll come in handy later. A discolored notebook. Watch therefore, for ye know not what hour your Lord doth come. But know this, that if the good man of the house had known in what watch the thief would come, he would have watched, and would not have suffered his house to be broken up. Therefore be ye also ready. For in such an hour as ye think not, the Son of Man cometh. Even God doesn't know when he will descend once more. He is constantly prepared for that day to come. Have faith in your God at all times. Your God doesn't even know when he'll see the light. Do not spare any effort. Study hard every day. Have the passion for discovery. You never know when you will be rewarded, but that day will come for sure. Until then, you must let the fires of your passion burn bright. Hifumi.T. For those who know, you know. Not that I haven't spoiled that part of the story several hundred times by now. Then again, who doesn't know how the story ends? It's kind of what it's known for. Ah, yeah, I remember you telling us about that. Ha ha ha, but why? Why do you think Takano-san and I will be murdered? My, frankly, it would be an honor for us to be the victims of the fifth curse of Oyushiro-sama. Hee. As I'd expected, they didn't really take me telling them that they'd be killed on the night of the festival seriously. They did keep their promise to tighten up my security after I showed them the ritual storehouse. I think our best bet right now would have been to tell Oishi and Akasaka. I'm like, hey, I'm like, Oishi, I need to talk to you in private. What is this? I need you and Akasaka to keep eye on two people for me. It's like, you think they're doing something bad? No. I think they're going to be the victims of the curse this year. How do you know? For now, please just have faith in me. I just can't tell you right now. But I think that Mio Takano and Jiro, Tomataki are going to be the victims of this curse, so I need you to keep watch over them and protect them. And, well, whoever it is that tries to kill them this year is probably the one responsible for all the other murders. It's like some of those are accidents. Not quite. I don't know everything. And I can't really tell you who or how, but I need you to watch these two. Perhaps secretly, though. Don't tell them, and make sure that whoever's trying to kill them doesn't see you. That way you should be able to catch them. After I showed them the ritual storehouse, however, they hadn't given one thought to their own safety. Oh well, like I said, I didn't expect them to believe me. If they were willing to take me seriously, I could have easily changed their fate a long time ago. I'm going to tell you this one more time. Tomataki, you're going to claw out your throat and die. Takano, you're going to burn to death on top of some mountain. I'm going to claw out my throat like the terminal symptoms of L5? Don't worry, I took the shots. I don't have the disease. What happens to me is horrible too. I'm going to burn to death on some mountain. Did you have a dream about that? I just want both of you to be careful, at least for tonight. Please listen to me, even if you don't really believe it. Did you have an ominous vision about some danger befalling us, perhaps? Don't worry. You're under the protection of the mountain dogs. You've had 8 security guards watching you today. Thank you very much. I know I'm being protected, but I want you guys to be careful too. Why did the camera shift slightly? Thank you for your concern. We'll be fine. I've even been working out. Yep, I'm sure you can swing a hunk of lumber pretty hard, man. I think I can protect myself. Tomataki flexed his biceps and smiled. He was probably trying to make me feel better. But all he really did was make me feel sadder. This is the sad part about being me. I know the future, but I can't tell them. It's as if that was the rule of the world. People tend not to believe what I tell them. But you are going to die. If Tomataki and Takano die, I'll be killed next. If the two of you are dead, who will protect me? It sounds like you had a horrible dream. Don't worry. Even if we die, the mountain dogs will still protect you. Are you really sure they would? They've never protected me before. That's not true. They've saved you when you got in a fight, remember? They're watching you at all times. Of course, they aren't on alert at all times, but just as you requested the other day, the security around you is still extremely strong. You even have better security team than Dr. Irie. They'll keep on protecting me even after you die? Of course. You're the most important person to us. Ha ha ha. So you're sure that we're getting killed tonight? That's too bad. Now this is an important thing. The Mountain Dogs is a group of like 100 military soldiers. Why are they suddenly unable to protect me? In every fucking universe. I wonder why. It was at this moment Lunar glared sarcastically at the computer. If you have no intention to survive, then I only have to worry about myself. The words must have left a mark on his heart. He looked much more serious after I said that to him. Good grief. Okay then, I'll be extra careful tonight. I'll take a security guard with me when I'm going back to Okonomiya. I think someone might attack the two of you if you're alone together. Make sure not to be alone with each other tonight. Hehehe, my, are you jealous? You're such a precocious girl. Like I thought, I can't change their fate. When we saved Satoko, everyone shared the same sense of urgency. That's why we all got together and saved her before it was too late. However, these two have no sense of urgency at all. How can I make them understand? I sighed and gave up. Tomataki, Takano? Goodbye. Thank you for everything. Hey, wait, Rika-chan? I had nothing else to say to them now. Instead, it might be worth talking to someone else. If I could get someone else to protect them, I might be able to change something. We have a literal ghost god deity person who can go around virtually undetectable. Just have Hanyu spy on them. So at least when whoever it is that kills them, we at least know who it is. I can't give up yet. Fate is as thin as a piece of paper. It's just like the lid on a jar jam. Or it's like Hanyu not able to go too far away from me. Is there like an astral sort of tether thing? It's just like the lid on a jar jam. It's not going to open unless you believe it will. Would it be weird to try to open a jar of jelly while screaming "believe in the heart of the cards"? Or various anime phrases? I have to believe that I can change my fate. If I don't, it's not going to change. Tomataki-san and Takano-san. Oh, we're telling you now! Yay! That's a good idea. Are you sure about this? I've told Eri about this so many times in the past. Eri tends to listen to me more seriously than Tomataki and Takano do. However, that doesn't mean he can actually do something about it. I'm the Stride Maiden of Oyoshiro-sama, and I have a bad feeling about this. Is that not a good enough reason? Ha 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 ha, I understand. It might be a message from Oyoshiro-sama. If that really happens tonight, it would be the 5th time in a row. I'll tell the two of them to be cautious too. I've already told them they don't care. All Eri would end up doing would be warning the two of them, which was exactly the same thing as what I did. In other words, it wouldn't matter in the least. Eri is just a researcher, and he has no ability to deal with the unexpected trouble. That's why Takano works for him, after all. Please, talk to them, please. Who else would treat me seriously? Who would be able to prevent Tomataki and Takano's death? Oishi and Akasaka. They may not be able to do anything to convince any of these people to do anything different, but they'd at least be able to watch them, especially since they're not having to stake out Teppei anymore. That's right, there's one man who's been fighting the curse of Oyoshiro-sama with all his might. Oh, it's Furude-san. Yay! We're on the same wavelength. I think like a Rika-chan. She's not a Pokemon. Why am I imagining her as like every Pokemon? Like, first Pikachu, but then it's like, just imagine a Rika, but like dressed up as cosplay of every Pokemon in existence. Or any of the characters from this game. As cosplays of Pokemon. I remember there being a video about, Pokemon war crimes. It's like an hour long, or at least the first one anyway. The guy made multiple sequels, but it's really hilarious. Anyway, him talking about like sandcastles stealing human souls and stuff. Oh, it's Furude-san. I've been looking for you. Akasaka-san wants to say goodbye. I guess he and I are not meant to be. Yeah, you still upset about last week? Akasaka-san really regrets that he wasn't able to help you. He says he'd love to come back to Hinamizawa again when he next has vacation. Yeah, but his wife took it personally? What? Huh? She's pretty, his wife, but she can be scary too. I have not seen her. Also, why would she take it personally? I don't understand. Oishi, I have something important to tell you, but no one else believes me. What's the matter? I've spoken to him several times in the past, too. He usually takes me pretty seriously. However, after they die, he starts suspecting me. That's why I stopped talking to him. Where did you hear that? Where at the festival? I told him that I heard someone talking about murdering them in the crowd. That way, he might not be suspicious of me after the murder really happens. Tomataki-san is not from around here, and with Takano-san, that makes 2 people. One is going to die, and one is going to disappear. This could be the 5th year's curse of Oyoshiro-sama. I can't take this as anything more than a rumor, you understand. But just in case, yeah, just keep an eye on him, man. We'll keep an eye on the two of them tonight. I think they were saying that they were going to attack them somewhere between Hinamizawa and Okinomiya. Tomataki's body will be found on the road leading out of the village. From what I remember, he's discovered where the concrete road turns to gravel. I see. I'll have a cruiser patrol around there. We can spare that at least. He agreed to get involved, and he wasn't suspicious of me either. Do you guys say either or either? I don't think it really matters. I'm sure it seems odd to people that Oishi actually believed this phony-sounding story of mine. The thing about Oishi is that he strongly believes that there's no smoke when there's no fire. I've learned from experience that he tends to believe my information. However, that personality of his has caused me so much trouble in previous worlds. Of course, there's no question why he's so eager to believe me either. This is his last chance to expose the curse of Oyoshiro-sama before his retirement. Even if it might be fake, he still wanted to believe it. That was convenient for me since I couldn't show proof. Hey, Kuma-chan, you read? Can you hear me? Have a cruiser patrol the road back to Okinomiya. No, it's just a precaution. I heard a rumor that something bad might happen around there tonight. Yeah, 2 officers would be fine. Thank you. No one else believed me, and I didn't know what to do. It's my job to believe these things. True. We'll just be glad if nothing happens. Again, true. With a job like that, it's your job to take the things seriously and try to prevent bad things, and it's your job to try to stop and prevent the bad things. But in the end of the day, the best case scenario is the bad things don't happen at all. You didn't have to do anything to stop it. That's the best thing of all. But at the same time, if a bad thing does start to happen, that's why you're there, to try to stop that, to help people. But at the end of the day, it's kind of like you suspect a murder is going to happen. If you can be there to stop the murder, awesome. But if it turns out that it was just, someone being paranoid and worried, and nothing bad was going to happen, but that's awesome too, because no one died. We'll just be glad if nothing happens. Be happy to swing and miss. Well, that's what my late colleague used to say. That's a very good philosophy. Heck, you guys remember Spike Spiegel? Cowboy Bebop? Oh well, whatever happens, happens. Besides, it's even worse if you ignore what you're told and don't take precautions. I see. That's his way of thinking about things. That was why he believed me without question. I hope he won't consider me a suspect after they find their bodies tomorrow. I shouldn't worry about that now. I can still do more. Who else should I talk to? Should I talk to my friends? I can't give up. I should at least try. No way! That being said, if I'm going to talk to them about Tomataki and Takano getting killed, I should also mention to them that, hey, not only are Tomataki and Takano going to get killed, but I already told them repeatedly. I'm even having them try to get security, at least what I'm allowed to tell them about that. As well as Dr. Irie. I've told Dr. Irie. I also went to Detective Oishi and told him to have officers watch them. I'm trying to talk to everyone I can who I think might be able to stop this. You heard someone talking about that? On the day of the festival? That's so wrong. You mean the curse, right? You're talking about the curse, or Yoshiro-sama. That might happen tonight. Yes. It happened 4 years in a row. It's happened 4 years in a row. Lots of people think that it's going to happen again tonight, too. What they believe is their business. But it's not nice of them to talk to Tomataki-san and Takano-san like that. Agreed. Even if it was someone just casually talking about it as a joke, still fucked up. But infinitely more fucked up if they mean it. I think you should talk to them about it just in case, I think. I already did, but they didn't believe me. I bet they didn't. But it's too late if something really does happen. I think you should talk to Oishi-san. I already did. I'm kind of impressed you've done all that Rika-chan. I also talked to Dr. Irie. Huh, I'm kind of impressed you've done all that, Rika-chama. I agree that they should take every precaution. Especially tonight. The serious and mysterious deaths in Hinamizawa, commonly known as the Curse of Oyoshiro-sama. I really don't want them to keep happening every year. Somebody might end up imitating it, and it's bad publicity for the village, too. So, if nothing happens tonight, it means the curse is over, right? We should definitely make sure that nothing happens then. What can we do? Are you suggesting that we should patrol around the village or something? Nope, because then we'll get killed. We are not the police. I'm pretty sure having all of me and my other teenage friends walking around the woods in the dark when there's a serial killer, very, very bad idea, whether we're split up or in a group. Not that it matters, we know how the story ends. But ignoring that we have an ending worse than the end of the golden age of Berserk. Seriously, the story's going to get darker than, well, the time Griffith was kind of a jerk to his friend Guts. I prefer the alternate ending of Berserk. The one where Griffith, doesn't betray his friends. And then he gets magical fairy dust and heals, and they all live happily ever after. Or take Final Fantasy VII. I like the ending where instead of burning down Cloud's hometown and massacring everyone in his village, he just talks to Cloud and Zack about his feelings, and they go to Dairy Queen, and nobody dies. I think patrolling might be even more careless. Do you really think we can do something about this? We don't even have guns. For starters, there's a chance some deviant trying to imitate the serial murders might be within a Minagoroshi preparation committee, so let's be wary of any unfamiliar faces. It's easy for us to tell strangers apart from the locals. We can spot them right away. I think we'll be fine. But Tomataki and Takano-san will still be killed. Rika-chan. Alright, let's try to do what we can. I agree. We can't protect them all night, but let's stay with them at least until the festival is over. As long as we're there, the bad guys won't be able to do anything to them. I couldn't tell if they really believed me or not, but they listened to me at least. We decided to keep our eyes on Tomataki and Takano and protect them for the rest of the night. I guess I've done everything I can now, though it's hard to believe this is enough to prevent their deaths. I just have to hope that nothing's happened when I wake up tomorrow morning. Imagine the Tetris theme here. Do you think you can prevent Tomataki and Takano's deaths, Rika? Possibly, probably, but how about this? You're determined that I should be willing to do another reset if this world, goes into a complete clusterfuck. So, how about you keep watch on them, huh? Hanyu? Huh? Oyoshiro-sama? You're older than the English language. Heck, you're older than Latin. So, just saying, no one can see you. You are a ghost, god, deity, space ghost, coast to coast. You guys remember that show? I can imagine the theme, but I cannot even begin to try to vocalize that in any way. I feel like at some point in this video I mentioned I was going to put a link to something in the description. But I'm struggling to... Oh yeah, Perfect Apocalypse. Okay. Oh right, no, Tatari Goroshi. I've been putting links to Tatari Goroshi in the... So there'll be 2 links. I need water. I'm gonna be back. I'm gonna get some water. I think I have a empty like Gatorade bottle with some water in it. An actual water bottle with water in it. Remember, guys, stay hydrated. That's the first rule of Watanagashi. Stay hydrated. I'll be right back. Oh, fuck. Yep, you guys heard me, Gus. Yep, hear me, like, sigh, make old man noises. 38. Okay, properly hydrated. But yeah, Hanyu, you're a ghost. Why don't you just, like, watch them? We've been through 100 years of this. We have been through over 100 years of this. We have been through over 9,000 resets already. I'm kind of surprised we haven't had you just, like, stalk each of them individually. That way we could find out what happens. It's kind of like you're in a boss fight in a game, but the boss keeps fighting and using the rest of its forms after you die. So instead of pushing the button to restart, you just stay there and watch, you know, the dissociative camera that the games have, and look over your "you died" text and see what the boss is doing. It might be impossible. Their deaths might be the bell that portends my doom. Ow, ow. But Takano told me earlier that even if they die, the mountain dogs are supposed to keep protecting me. They might bring in more squads from Tokyo too. Even if they die, the situation will be different this time. What if it still doesn't work out? Then I will just have to die. Anyway, I'm not going to give up until the very end. I'll struggle to my very limits. I won't give up and spend the rest of my time drinking wine. Do whatever you want to do, Rika. Okay, would you prefer we just... Cold water is the best. You still believe that nothing is going to change, Hanyu? I don't believe anything. It's only fate. I keep getting hurt because I have hope, huh? If I'm an actress trying to get up on the stage, Hanyu is a real bystander. We have very different opinions when it comes to this. Rika, no matter what happens, don't give up. That sounds like you're convinced that nothing is going to change. Lately, the things you say have been pissing me off. Ow, ow. How do you treat a ghost with depression? Like I've asked before, like if a person with autism dies, does the ghost have autism still? Or what if a person isn't autistic and they die and become a ghost, and then later on the ghost develops autism? Or about depression? If you have depression when you're alive, you still have depression as a ghost. What if you're a ghost and you didn't have depression your whole life and you like developed depression? You know what I think it is? I think Hanyu, because I don't think she actually has a hug in a long time. She's like a ghost person. I, too, have hugs deficiency. I don't know. Perhaps physical and emotional affection would actually grant me happiness. Who knows? I understand. Hanyu keeps telling me not to get my hopes up because she cares about me. Because I hope to defeat fate, I get hurt when that hope is betrayed. Yeah. And the more I get hurt, the closer I get to losing my mind and disappearing. Ah, that feels relatable. For Hanyu, that means losing her only friend. Losing me is probably the most unbearable thought for Hanyu, since she has to live alone, unable to communicate with anyone else. I now believe that the fate can be changed. Even when I didn't have that faith, I still believe that eventually I'd find a way to get out of this maze. Perhaps Hanyu knows something I don't. I might just be a goldfish inside of a fishbowl. There might be no way for me to escape my fate. We're stuck alone inside of the fishbowl, yet every one day I knock on the glass, believing that I can break it someday. Hanyu keeps telling me that I'm wasting my time. If I get hurt and die, she would have to survive all by herself inside the fishbowl. With that, I think I finally understand our difference of opinions. Hanyu has lived for a much longer time than I have. Because of that, she understands the laws of this infinitely spanning world better than I do. No matter how much I refute Hanyu, I can never refute the truth. Even so, I still have to believe in my own faith. I believe in a spear that will pierce the wall of fate. My faith will make that spear sharper than ever. Is that person wearing a fanny pack? Does that person's shirt have angel wings on the back? You know, made me think of Renoa from Final Fantasy VIII. We found Tomataki in the crowd and struck up a conversation with him to keep him around as long as we could. However, as soon as the festival ended, they tried to leave. If they left now, I'd never see them again. Mion tried insisting they stay at her house for the night, but Tomataki refused. But the future refused to change. That being said, Mion, that actually was a very brilliant idea. Perhaps if they took you up on it, it might have worked. Everyone tried various ways to stop them from being alone because the murderers might be around. However, we eventually started to believe that they wanted to be alone for adult reasons. And I wound up suggesting that we shouldn't interrupt the two lovebirds. Don't worry, Rika-chan. Tomataki-san is a man, after all. I'm sure he'll do anything to protect Takano-san. Is that so? If something happens, you'll rescue me, right? That's the plan. I don't know if it's possible to overdose in irony. I think I'm using that word correctly in this situation. Perhaps it's never been more correctly used than in this moment right now. Well, we really should go. Now, it's getting pretty late. Thank you for your concern. Hee hee. Don't make any assumptions. I'm heading to the clinic because I left something there. Takano-san is the key, so we have to go together. Oh, I didn't know that you were into playing doctor. Nah, I think he's more into playing gynecologist. Right, they don't know that Tomataki's in the military part of the branch that goes to the clinic to oversee their budget. Hehehe. Did Takano hit them? Crash, bang, wham. How? I wonder how they play doctor. I wonder who hit who. Don't hit them just because you feel embarrassed. And as for you two, stop only getting along when you're making dirty jokes. Goodbye, everyone. Ha ha ha. I really am just going back there to get what I forgot. Don't follow us, okay? Ha 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 ha. Ha 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 ha. How? Tomataki, please be careful. I do think you're overreacting, Rika. Hua. Everyone laughed when Satoko yawned. It seemed like a good time to call it a day. It doesn't feel like I was able to change their fate. I just hope that they pay attention and that they're prepared for whatever faces them. I still might have a chance. All I can do now is pray. Goodbye, Tomataki-san. Please show us the pictures you took next time. Make sure you wear your punishment shirt. Man, I'm so jealous you get to spend a night with a pretty lady. Woo-woo. Ha 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 ha. See you guys again. I guess it'll be in the fall. That's if we don't get killed tonight. Hee hee. Good night, everyone. Good night. That was the best I could do on the night of the Watanagashi. Do 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 do. Please tell me what happened this night. This is like a box with a cat inside. Please tell me what happened this night. I don't even know what cat is alive or dead inside a box. Please tell me what happened this night. The cat in the box is dead. Frederica Berncastel. Tomataki gathered up his paperwork and slipped it inside his bag. They sure were persistent. Haha, I wonder if they really want us dead. Hee hee? How rude of them, huh? It was only a dream. Please make sure that Dr. I re-examines Rika-chan. Her nightmares might be a symptom of something. If anything happens to her, it would be a disaster. Takano touched Tomataki's hand gently. As he turned bright red, Takano moved in closer and spoke. The way she acts is just too sexy, Tomataki thought. Hey, Jiro-san. I have something very important to tell you. Will you listen to me? What? What is it? You have something to tell me too? Ha ha! Ha ha ha! I hope you didn't see me claw up my throat in a dream. Ha 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 ha! What would you say if I did? Eh? Takano stared at him with a mischievous look as if seducing him. And started whispering into his ear. Hee hee. I'm really surprised. That girl might have a godlike power after all. Hee 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 hee. What does that mean? Takano smiled gently and pulled back her hair. Even seeing her do that made Tomataki's heart race. I really like you. That's good to know. Takano's fingers curled around Tomataki's chin, stroking, tickling, and caressing it. Her movements were very captivating and seductive. I've dated a lot of guys, but none of them interested me as much as you. I've learned that someone with a personality like yours makes the ideal partner for me. You're willing to accept everything I stand for. I believe that you understand me completely. That's why I can give you everything I have. I want you to accept everything about me. Do you understand? Well, Takano-san? What's the matter? Her voice didn't really sound that affectionate. Tomataki knew from experience that he couldn't grasp what was on her mind when she wore a cold smile like that. Finally, it's almost here. You guys remember the Sephiroth song, One Winged Angel? Bells, frogs, big cherries, Tinker Bell, ham and cheese. Sephiroth, Sephiroth, bells, frogs, big cherries, Tinker Bell, ham and cheese. Sephiroth. It seemed as though she couldn't wait for something to happen. Well, she's enacting her plan to transcend and become God. Also, yeah. The fucking ribbon and pin are a concern. Please pay attention to little details like that. There was a chilling allure to her strange smile that made one question if something exciting was really about to happen. What's almost here? Tomataki asked, trying hard to resist the temptation. The day my dream comes true. Your dream? Yes, my dream. Didn't I tell you before? Or do you forget about everything we talk about in bed? No, I remember. Your dream. Tomataki's response was vague. Either he didn't remember or he hadn't understood it very well. Finally, the curse of Oyashiro-sama is going to come true. That's what I've been dreaming about ever since I was a child. Hee hee hee. Jiro-san, listen. I can't be with you anymore. What? What do you mean? You see, I belong in a different world. Hinamizawa is where humans and demons once coexisted. That's why we met each other here. But all that is going to come to an end soon. The eclipse of the sun brought humans and demons together. Do you understand what I'm saying? Hehehe. Takano-san? Did you drink a bit too much at the festival? Haha, you're drunk, right? Tonight is a night of farewells. Thank you for teaching me about the sunlit realm. Your warmth was like the glow of the midday sun. We really did have a wonderful relationship. I'm so sad that we have to say goodbye. She pulled herself away from Tomataki and slowly stepped back, as if signaling the time for them had come for them to part. I don't know what you're trying to say. What's this all about, Takano-san? I want you to make a decision. I want you to decide to stay with me and abandon the sunlit realm. If what you told me was all true, then I know you have no doubts. By that time, Tomataki understood that Takano was asking him to make an important decision. Could it be your... Hee? That's right. Jiro-san. Tomataki got up from his seat and looked at Takano straight in the eyes. There was a faint glimmer of hostility within those eyes. Is your work more important than me? I thought so. I can't believe this. I trusted you. Those words were ones of rejection. Takano's lips twisted into a cruel smile. Oyashiro-sama united the humans and the demons, but I guess he can't unite you and me. Hee. Takano slowly opened the door. 6 men in overalls were standing there at the ready. Tomataki was frozen in shock. The 6 men walked up to Tomataki with no expressions on their faces. It was immediately obvious that they were going to do something to harm him. What is this all about? Hinamizawa syndrome is like a bomb with a lit fuse. Your plan is to dismantle that bomb before it explodes. Mine is to make it the biggest fucking blast ever. Why does this make me think of like that movie of Tom Cruise? Was it Speed? I think it's the first Speed movie. Had a bus, 50 miles per hour. However, there are some people in Tokyo who want to see it go off. No! What good will that do for anyone? Nobody ever does anything that isn't beneficial to them. Therefore, if they want the bomb to explode, it must be doing good for someone. Your question just now is a pretty meaningless one. I can't believe this. There are people who want that to happen? Hinamizawa syndrome is a very dangerous disease. You know that as well as I do. I do. It would be a disaster if it had an outbreak. Tokyo wouldn't be able to cover it up either. Did that faction bribe you? It was actually my mission from the very start. I'm so sorry. We belong to different worlds from the moment we first met. What are you going to do to me? It would be a great help if you came over to our side. Of course, that would mean that you'd have to betray your own people. You're expecting me to turn on them? Jiro-san. Hey guys! The true antagonist of the story has revealed. Aside from the 1,000 times I've mentioned it since Chapter 1. Like 200 videos ago. Jiro-san, if your feelings for me are real, will you support me? You'll be compensated, of course. Okay guys, in the words of Shakespeare, to simp or not to simp? That is the question. If you wish, I'll dedicate my whole life to you. I'll do whatever you want me to, whenever and wherever you want. My body will belong to you. You can dominate me to satisfy your needs whenever you like. I'm willing to be all yours. Hey, don't you want to dye this body of mine in your scent? Her words were a kind of assault, directly hammering at the emotions men had difficulty resisting. Well, it's more than that. I mean, we are in a relationship, so it's more than just lust. It's, you know, this is somebody that Tomitaki thought he trusted not only as a friend, but as a close romantic partner. This is somebody that, you know, he had a sense of feeling of safety and trust in. That's the bad thing about betrayal. Betrayal and treason and all that kind of shit never comes from your enemies. It comes from people that you actually trusted. They were like an evil spell to control his heart. Upon hearing them, Tomitaki felt an unknown sensation rush up his spine as his feet froze in place, entranced. However, he forced himself to resist the temptation. He sealed the cracks in his wall of reason to stop Takano from forcefully entering his heart. Ugh. I refuse. He. She had known from the start that Tomitaki was going to refuse her. Even so, Takano let out a triumphant laugh. It's funny, she thought Tomitaki would refuse right away. However, it took him a while to refuse because of how effective she was at seducing him. The time it took him to refuse her was one of victory for Takano. For Tomitaki, it was a time of humiliation. Takano continued to laugh. She sounded rather like an evil witch. I thought you would say that. That's why I love you so much. Takano raised up her right hand and gave a signal to the mountain dogs. Okanugi-kun, you're betraying me too? I'm sorry, Lieutenant Tomitaki. Are you surprised? The mountain dogs work for me. It was us who controlled the clinic all along. You and Dr. Irie are the only people who didn't know. Hee. Shit! Tomitaki moved into action, sensing the danger that was about to befall him. His fist thrust out as quick as lightning, knocking one man down before he could even blink. However, the other mountain dogs certainly weren't going to just stay there and watch. They all attacked him as one. He tried to strike back with an elbow, but he simply couldn't overcome the difference in numbers. Tomataki tried his best, but soon enough, the mountain dogs had wrestled him to the ground. Damn it! Let go! Let me go! Stop struggling already. Warg! Warg! They pinned him down so that he couldn't move an inch. Impressive, Jiro-san. You fought pretty well considering you were up against 6 people. Takano walked over and smiled while looking down at Tomataki. Hey, Jiro-san. I know you're going to refuse, but let me ask you one more time. Will you change your mind and join my side? Never. I'll never join with you. I'll never go to the dark side. That's what I wanted to hear, so I could sever all my attachments. Hee 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 hee. Takano was holding a small case in her hands. She opened it and showed Tomataki what was inside. What's in that syringe? Oh, come now. I'm sure you know what this is. Hee hee. No. We destroyed all of them. Jiro-san, let me guess what you're thinking. Even if this is what you think is, you should still have an immunity because you took the vaccine. Hee hee. Isn't that what you're thinking? That's why you're scared, alright? It was just a tetanus shot. There is no vaccine! Well, let me tell you something nice. That vaccine you took before you came here was fake. You may not have noticed it, but you're already an L3 patient of the Hanamisawa syndrome. Jiro-san, you have a tendency to look away when you get an injection. That's not very smart. You should always make sure of what you're getting. Hee hee. Shit! Let me go! Tomataki struggled to get away, but he simply couldn't move. Upon seeing his sorry state, Takano laughed with glee. I'm sure you know very well about H173. You'll become infected instantly, and will virtually become an L5 patient. You saw how the experiment turned out, no? The subject was displaying extreme irritation in the neck and armpit areas. Based on our past studies, patients with the L5 suffer from extraordinary irritation in their lymph nodes. It might be an antigen-antibody reaction. In other words, Jiro-san, if you're lucky, you might be able to die just as Rika-chan predicted. Hehehe. Are you going to kill yourself or become disabled for life? Which would you prefer? Which one, Jiro-san? Hehehe. Stop! Stop! It's going to be too difficult to give him the injection like this. Put him to sleep, please. One of the men covered Tomataki's mouth with a towel soaked in some kind of chemical. He tried to fight it off all his might, but his strength eventually left him, and he became as quiet as a beached whale. Takano stroked his face to make sure that he couldn't resist. Then she brought the needle toward his throat. She pushed it right into his skin. As she squeezed down on the syringe's plunger, the skin surrounding the tip of the needle swelled up, and eventually the contents were absorbed into his body. Goodbye, Jiro-san. When you wake up, you'll be in the middle of a wonderful nightmare. Hee 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 hee. The mountain dogs finally got off of him. He couldn't even twitch. Someone put him in my trunk. 2 of the men lifted up Tomataki and carried him outside. Remember, the analog of this story, Minagoroshi, after Keiichi had just finished murdering Teppei and burying him in the woods, he ran into Takano, who was driving a car and almost accidentally ran him over, with 2 bicycles in the back of a car, while Jiro's bike in the back. And there were concerns about what was in the trunk. Oh, hold on. I'm sure he'd be happy if I left him his bicycle. That way he can enjoy cycling in hell, too. The mountain dogs all quietly laughed at the joke. We are now going to commence Operation Doomsday. They stopped laughing as she began to speak. Oko Nogi, you wait for the contact from headquarters. Keep your eyes on Dr. Irie. Also keep tabs on Rika Furude, too. I don't know what kind of power she has, but she predicted how Tomataki was going to die. Hee hee. I'm very curious about her, but too bad. Roger. I'll take care of things here. Please be careful on your way. There's not much to be careful of. By the way, where's Dr. Irie? I'm sure he's attending the festival's after party. He's still at the shrine. I wish I could see the look of panic on that nerd's face. Hee hee. The mountain dog started laughing again, too. Takano checked the time on her watch. It was nearly 10 p.m. Most people had left the festival for home. Those people still there were probably enjoying the after party while getting drunk inside the shrine. It was a good time for her to leave without being seen by anyone. I'm leaving now. I'm going to go and die. Hee hee. After saying that, she left the clinic alone to stage her fake death. She left through the back door. It's probably Rina's burnt corpse that we find in the mountains. She left amid the moonlight, the singing of insects, and the sound of a river. It was a typical night in Hinamizawa. While enjoying all these sensations, Takano got inside her car. Toмотaki was sleeping inside the trunk. His bicycle, on the other hand, was loaded into her back seat. In the Higurashi storyline, she almost runs over Kichi, who was trying to bicycle half-assedly back after spending the whole day murdering and burying Teppei. How ironic. Your bicycle has a better seat than you. I'll let you out of there soon. I should leave him by the road that leads to Okinomiya. That'll be a good spot. Takano found a good place to drop him off, but she gave up on it as there was a police cruiser parked in the area. She figured that they were probably patrolling to make sure the 5th year's curse didn't happen. Good job, officers. No one would ever suspect that there's a curse packed in my trunk right now. Takano drove onto less lit streets with rougher roads. Eventually the mountain road ended and she was surrounded by darkness. There was rice fields nearby. She could tell by the sound of the croaking frogs. Takano parked her car by the pitch-black roadside. She had to stop here, otherwise she'd be too close to a residential area. Indeed, she was nearly in Okinomiya. She would have dumped him earlier, but the police cruiser had foiled that plan. Takano pulled Toмотaki out of the trunk and left him by the road. She also left him his bicycle. Toмотaki left out a small groan. It probably wouldn't be long until he woke up. Goodbye, Jiro-san. Your awkward sweet talk was very entertaining. I wish I could hear it again. Hee hee. You'll be waking up soon. By the time you'll be in the final stage of L5. After a futile struggle, you'll meet with a miserable demise. I wonder if you really are going to claw at your throat and die. I wish I could be here to see it. Hee hee. Your mysterious death and my disappearance will complete the 5th year's curse of Oyashiro-sama. The story of the curse of Oyashiro-sama will be firmly established. You should feel honored, Jiro-san. You're going to be part of history. You might be losing your life here, but in a way you're going to live for eternity. Hee 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 hee. That was her last farewell to Toмотaki. Takano got back inside her car and started driving. She could see the place she left Toмотaki in her rearview mirror, but it was already shrouded in darkness. Hey Hanyu, are you in the car too? It'd be nice if you decide to also follow them. Since we're taking every precaution to try to do this. Takano drove through the main street of Okinomiya and made a few turns, heading for the dark mountains in the distance. It had been a while since she left Hinamizawa. It was almost midnight. She might have already made it to the neighboring prefecture. It was difficult to tell because she couldn't really see anything into the darkness. Takano stopped her car in the middle of all that. After turning off both the engine and the headlights, there really was nothing but darkness surrounding her. It was as if time itself had stopped. Takano wasn't sure how long she waited, but eventually she saw the headlights of a car blinking twice. Ow, my eyes! She blinked her own headlights back at it. Soon she saw several people walking towards her. 2 men wearing blue overalls knocked on the window of Takano's car. Obligingly, she opened it. They looked over her face and the paperwork they had in her hands. Hello, I'm Takano. After confirming her identification, they called someone over the radio. Hello, we've got the lady. Anyone following? No one is after you. You're clear for 400 meters. Nobody's following us. Your work is much appreciated. Please come with us to the command vehicle. I'll take your paperwork. The paperwork is inside the trunk. Here's the key. I do need some coffee. Could you get me some? The command vehicle was a trailer with a bunch of high-tech communication equipment inside, and one scared little ghost. I mean, little in terms of stature, but she's like really, really, really old. The light of the electric equipment shone beautifully in the dark. Here's your coffee, Major. Another man in blue overalls offered her a paper cup. Thank you. Magical girl transformation. Commence! What's going on with my corpse? They finished setting it up in the Gifu prefecture. Gifu? Did I burn to death in the mountains of Gifu? I'm not sure about the cause of death. I'll confirm it with someone. Operation Doomsday. That was the name of their mission. The goal of the operation's first stage was Takano's escape from Hinamizawa and the extraction of 18 specific classified documents. The goal had been completed. Assassinating the liaison from Tokyo, Tomataki, was also one of the goals. That one had also been completed in the way Takano had planned. He was not killed that way just because Takano wanted to see it. It was intentionally planned that way so that the office in Tokyo would be suspicious of the Erie Institute. They were trying to create the story that the Institute was upset about the recent budget cuts and the cancellation of their study. Tomataki's mysterious death would be a suitable way to persuade people. Tomataki was not the only one who expected to die. Takano was expected to do so as well. However, Takano didn't really need to die herself. They had acquired a substitute body for her, so she didn't actually have to die. Actually, Takano had no idea how they got the body. According to what she heard, a team of Gifu took care of everything. Once Tomataki and Takano were dead, Tokyo would definitely grow suspicious of the Erie Institute. The main purpose of this mission was to make the Institute look reckless. I'm sorry, Major. There's been a problem in Gifu. A problem? What sort of problem? They made a mistake with the corpse. The body has already been dead for 24 hours. I see. And what's that supposed to mean? It means that you were already dead yesterday. Takano's body was supposed to be selected from the corpses of people who had died the same day. The plan was to burn the body and make the identification of the corpse more difficult. They'd found a suitable body for the plan, however they just found out that it had been dead for over a day. That would create a hole in their plans. They're going to collect another body to use instead. Hee. No, that's fine. We can still use that body as me, huh? But that would mean... The messenger of Oyoshiro-sama was long dead, but came to the festival regardless. Hee, that's a good one. That's a very, very good one. Yeah. Takano laughed with satisfaction for a while. The other people in the vehicle couldn't understand why Takano was laughing so much. Takano continued to laugh as if it was the funniest thing she'd ever heard. Go ahead. Call the team in Gifu and tell them to stop looking for another body. I think this will make for an interesting twist. Are you sure? Shouldn't you be more cautious? Don't worry. Everyone saw Mio Takano walking around the Watanagashi festival. Even if the forensics lab does find that the body's been dead for more than a day, they'll just think that the test results were wrong. Hee. Takano almost seemed to be enjoying the risk. Roger, I'll notify them. By the way, was my body burned inside of an oil drum? Yes. It seems someone already discovered it on the mountain near the freeway. Takano seemed surprised to hear that from him. Then she started laughing strangely again. Nobody could figure out why she was laughing like that. I see. The reincarnation of Oyoshiro-sama really is gifted. I have to admit, she has a supernatural power that defies explanation. Tell the mountain dogs in Hinamizawa to tighten up security on R. Roger. Major. The Okinomiya Police Department has discovered the body of Tomataki. They have, huh? The show is about to begin. Hee. Oh, Oishi-san, Dr. Erie has arrived. Oh, thank you for coming. So, what do you think, Dr. Erie? Oishi entered the area enclosed by blue tarp. In there, people from forensics were taking pictures of the dead body from various angles. Erie was squatting down next to the dead body of Jiro Tomataki. When he stood up, he was as white as a sheet. I can't believe it. Yep, I can't believe it either. As far as I can see, he clawed out his own throat with his bare hands. This isn't a normal way to die. Most likely some kind of dangerous drug must have caused it. Are you saying that he was a drug addict? I don't know, was he? It's going to be my job to find that out. Oishi-san? What's this 2x4 doing here? I think he was swinging it around, and he threw it away, and he had more fun clawing at his own throat, I guess. Why was he swinging the 2x4 around? He probably did it in self-defense. Did you notice there are several external injuries on his body? Yes, I can see some bruises. The easiest explanation I can think of is this. He was attacked by someone on his way home to Okinomi after the festival. He was seized by the culprit, given a shot of some kind of dangerous drug, went crazy, and died. Hey, Dr. Erie! That sounds like that thing that you have in your lab. I've never heard of any drug that can make people claw at their own throats. I'm not an expert on it either, but they say self-harm is one of the terminal symptoms for drug addicts, right? Well, I'm sure the old man in forensics will take care of the investigation. Excuse me, Oishi-san. We found a bicycle believed to belong to Jiro Tomataki a mile away from here. Oh, is that so? Thank you. Did you find anything on it? Not yet. They're investigating it right now. So that means the place where the bicycle was found is most likely the place he was attacked, and he ran away from that culprit and came here. Oishi frowned, crossing his arms in front of his chest. Erie was looking at the miserable corpse of Tomataki, and he kept saying the same thing. It's impossible. It's just impossible. Erie knew right away that Tomataki's death was caused by the terminal symptoms of the Hinamizawa syndrome. He hadn't swung the 2x4 at a real person, but probably saw some kind of hallucination due to the L5 symptoms. Violent reactions to hallucinations is one of the clearest characteristics of the terminal stage. However, Tomataki supposedly took a vaccine before he came to the village. There was no way he could reach L5 symptoms in such a short period of time. Erie didn't want to believe it, but it was obvious that someone intentionally injected him with the pathogen. The pathogen must have been strong enough to give him L5 symptoms immediately. The only drug that can do that is H173, a chemical weapon that induces an acute onset of symptoms. It makes people hallucinate, which inevitably leads to a horrible death. It's the absolute worst kind of demon. However, they had destroyed all of it due to its dangerous nature. All that was left were helpful chemicals such as vaccines and treatment drugs. Tomataki was their liaison from Tokyo. What has Satoko been injecting herself with? Is she actually just diabetic and it's just her insulin? Tomataki was their liaison from Tokyo. Whoever killed him must have had full knowledge about him and this drug. How would that person know he was their liaison? It was then that Erie thought of Takano. Takano is also a watchdog from Tokyo. She's something like a superintendent. It was quite possible that something bad had happened to her, too. What about Takano-san? What happened to Takano-san? What? Oh, are you talking about your nurse? I think she was with him. Is she okay? Do you know her phone number? Of course. Kuma-chan, get her phone number for Dr. Erie and have someone at the station call her home. Remember, this is before cell phones existed. Understood. Doctor, can I have the number? Yes, here it is. Kumagai got the phone number, repeated it to make sure he got it right, and dashed out of the blue tent. Doctor! Takano-san and Tomataki were close friends, weren't they? Yes. Have you heard about any troubles between them? No. Not even once. They were very close friends. Tomataki and Takano weren't just in a close relationship. They were co-workers sent from Tokyo. They had access to information that even Irie didn't. There's no way there was trouble between them. Well, I hope she's alright. Oh, she's on her 4th coffee. In the worst case scenario, she could be dead. Or she could even be the perp. I see. Nurses do have access to dangerous drugs, don't they? We don't have any drugs like that in my clinic. Even if we did, we'd store them with extra care. There's no way Takano-san could smuggle out a drug from my clinic. But it's easier for nurses to do it than regular people, right? Like I said, I've never heard of a drug like that, and I don't have anything like that in my clinic. Erie made clumsy excuses while he tried to piece together what was going on. However, Erie had no means of knowing the state of affairs in Tokyo, and he couldn't reach any further conclusions, so it was easy to laugh at him as though he is a frog trapped in a well. Oishi-san, she isn't home. The standby unit says they're going to go to her house to check. Doctor, can you give me her address? Kuma-chan? Can you also check the police headquarters has found any unidentified female bodies tonight? Maybe we should go check the other prefectures too. Get the section manager to call all the nearby prefectural headquarters and ask if they had any unidentified female bodies. Yes, sir. Unidentified. The Okonomiya Police Department is contacting the Gifu Prefectural Police Department. Are you sure about this, Major? Sure. I don't mind. Just leave it there. Doomsday has almost arrived anyway. Everything will be destroyed before they even find out that the time of death doesn't match. Hee hee hee. The day after Watanagashi. Oishi showed up at our school. It isn't uncommon for Oishi to show up here today. Interestingly, he always asks to see the most key person in that world. He asks for Kiichi in the world where he gets sick. He asks for Rena in the world where she gets sick. In this world, he asked for me. Did Tomataki really die? Yeah. The way he went was pretty strange, too. Like he was on drugs and hallucinating. He clawed out his own throat until he died. I couldn't prevent it. There's nothing I can do now. I knew this was going to happen. I'm sure Takano is dead, too. And Takano... I have bad news about her, too. She was found burned to death in the mountains over in Gifu Prefecture. Based on the condition of the body, she was choked to death before her body was burned. It's a tragic story, no matter how you look at it. I know what you're thinking. You think I know something about what happened to them. Heavens, no. I only have one question. Who would talk about such a disturbing plan at the festival where anyone could hear? You think I'm involved in this murder? Well, I wanted to suspect you, but I don't. If you were responsible in some way, you wouldn't have given me the hints you did. At the very least, I'm sure you're not involved with the people who killed them. I'm glad you're not suspicious of me. Oishi threw a 10-yen coin into the offering box and shook the bell in prayer. Please, let us solve the mystery of Hinamizawa this year. Are you trying to get me involved in your investigation? Yeah, I was just talking to Oyoshiro-sama. Oishi is well aware that people call me the reincarnation of Oyoshiro-sama. That must have been his attempt at a joke. I'd like to see the curse disappear forever, too. Oh, that means we both want the same thing. I made a prediction about where you might find Tomataki's body. Didn't you have a police cruiser nearby? Yeah, I listened to your prediction, and had a cruiser patrol the area. The place where the concrete and gravel road meets, it's on the very border of the village. It gets very dark there at night. It always seems like something bad were to happen, it could happen there. So where did you find Tomataki's body? We found him dead by the rice fields near Okonomiya. That's not where his body is usually found. If he was fated to hallucinate and die, he would die in exactly the same spot, whether the cruiser was there or not. Just because the cruiser was placed there, Tomataki's body was found in a totally different spot. In other words, the existence of the police cruiser disrupted that fate. Anyway, there's something else I found very interesting. I told the officers in the police cruiser to check every vehicle that passed by. As it turned out, one of the cars that headed toward Okonomiya after the festival was Takano's. Takano lives in Okonomiya. It wouldn't be strange for her to head back home after the festival. However, she was the only one inside the car. Tomataki wasn't with her. Tomataki always comes to Hinamizawa on his bike. Then, she could have loaded his bike in the trunk and given him a ride. Instead, there was a bike in the back seat. and some dude sleeping in the trunk. But he was not with her. However, his body was found among the rice fields near Okonomiya Pass where the police cruiser was patrolling Hinamizawa. What are you saying? There's no way he could have biked through the dark woods to avoid the police cruiser. He somehow took the road without being noticed by us. Furude-san, can you tell me what you know about the relationship between Tomitaki and Takano? They're dating. That's all I know. I find it hard to believe that Takano would drive back home alone in the dark without her boyfriend. What if she had Tomitaki in her trunk, and she was planning to dump his body in the woods, but because the cruiser was in the area, she had no choice but to pass by and dump him on the side of the road. Both Tomitaki and Takano were sent here from Tokyo. I have no idea what their real identities are. I can't say that Takano had no reason to kill Tomitaki. However, I've never considered that possibility before in my life because she's always dead. Takano killing Tomitaki? But why? I can't think of any reason. Nothing comes to mind, and it's hard to imagine Takano was cornered to the point she had to kill him. In fact, it was more plausible to think that she was enraged when the lovesick Tomitaki acted cold towards her, and she strangled his neck. I never really thought they suited each other. Yeah, I don't mean to insult Tomitaki-kun, but I thought Takano was way too smart for him. Have you heard of any rumors that she was trying to use him for anything? None, but I can ask around. I'll let you know if I find out something. Thank you very much. I'm just glad that reincarnation Oyashiro-sama is on my side. But even the reincarnation Oyashiro-sama couldn't solve this mystery for over 100 years. But you said Takano was killed too. How can she be the culprit? Well, it's because you leaked me the information. I mean, the prophecy. Without that, I'm sure I would have just believed that both Takano and Tomitaki were the victims of the 5th year's curse of Oyashiro-sama. I feel like it's different this time. Maybe as though this is someone trying to make the curse of Oyashiro-sama happen. So you really think that Takano-san is the culprit? Basically, this is what Oishi is trying to say. They're not both victims. The culprit is also pretending to be a victim. This is really hard for me to believe. I can't think of any reason why Takano would do something like this. Oishi only feels the way he does because he doesn't know her as well as I do. For another thing, how can he explain that Takano's body was found? Didn't the police in Gifu Prefecture identify the body? For a charred corpse, the easiest way to identify them is by their dental records. Although according to the old man in the forensics, they're still not 100% sure. And besides, there's a contradiction with the estimated time of death. It just doesn't make sense. What do you mean? Well, the test results show that she was dead on the night before the festival. Apparently they inspected the contents of her stomach and such, but at the time of the testing they had already information about Takano. They knew that she was at the festival that night and realized that the test results didn't match up. So they just dumped the results and decided to take the dental records alone. These things do happen every once in a while. However, Takano really is the culprit. This body might belong to someone else. Is it possible to do something like that? When a body is burnt, dental records are the only way to identify it. It's almost like you'd have to be somebody in the government to have access to the stuff to fake that. Oh wait, yeah, that's literally Takano's job. In every way. This might sound like too much like a mystery novel, but what if, for example, someone faked Mio Takano's dental records? If they were skillfully forged, we could have the wrong ID. Anyway, the Gifu Police Department has made up their mind that the body belongs to Takano. Within police departments, we sometimes have issues with false test results. That's how most false charges are made. It feels to me like this is one of those times. So you think Takano is alive? Since last night, both Mio Takano and her car have gone missing. If that body found in Gifu isn't Takano, this is going to be very interesting indeed. Eri had already heard about the deaths of Tomitaki and Takano. It seemed like both the clinic and the office in Tokyo had flown into a panic over it. It's funny how they make such a big fuss about their own people when they don't care about what happens to the other people's lives if it would get in the way of the research. Takano's subordinate Okanogi was in the room. Hey, you're one of the people that murdered... Okanogi is the leader of the Mountain Dogs. I came here to make sure he's still willing to protect me. Based on past experience, they tend to lose interest in protecting me after Takano dies. Okanogi? Takano is dead. But am I still safe? Don't worry, Rika-san. We'll still keep up the tight security around you. You don't have to call the police. I guess this is part of the tight security? They must have been listening to my conversation with Oishi. Fuck! Oishi told me something. Is it true that Takano isn't really dead? That can't be true. The Gifu Police Department has made an official announcement that Oishi is retiring this year, isn't he? Sometimes he makes up stories because he's desperate to solve the case of Oyashiro-sama, the curse of Oyashiro-sama. You shouldn't pay attention to anything he says. Well, he's not wrong. This year is Oishi's last chance. Because he's so desperate, he's developed a bad habit of listening to every rumor he hears. What's your opinion about this, Okanogi? Right now, they're still investigating, so I can't say anything. Knowing the relationship between those two, I think it's clear that this was done by someone within the organization. I glanced over at Eri as I listened to Okanogi speak. It seemed that whatever he was talking to over the phone was accusing him of killing them. Eri was frantically trying to prove his innocence. Soon enough, he hung up the phone. Eri looked upset that he was under suspicion after working so hard for the organization. Oh, Rika-chan. I'm sorry for making you wait. It seems like you're in big trouble. Just as you heard, it sounds like there's some big conspiracy behind their deaths. People in Tokyo think that I'm the one who's pulling the strings. Good grief, I have a lot of questions as to how they figure that. I rarely ever saw Irie get so emotional. He must be feeling as though all his effort is being repaid with injustice. However, it's a fact that Eri was trying to fight against the budget cuts and downsizing of his research team. Yes, and I'm pretty sure killing the person in charge of shit. How does that help? Tokyo is thinking that could be his motive for killing them. Doesn't seem like a very smart motive. In any case, everyone in the organization is suspicious. I understand how scared you must feel. The people who attacked Takano-san Tomoki-san could be after you too. The people in Tokyo are also concerned about that. We got the order to tighten up your security. Don't worry. I'm very relieved to hear that. This was the first time the Mountain Dogs had ever tightened up my security. That being said, if the Mountain Dogs who work for Takano, if Takano is the one, responsible for this would be like being worried that Freddy Krueger's going to kill you. And so, you get Jason Voorhees, Michael Myers, and all of them to try to protect you, but they're... Or be like, you're worried about Hitler coming after you, so you go get, like, Dr. Mengele and Goebbels and Eamon Gepth. And they're like, you mispronounced those words. I'm like, yeah, I did. They usually become so busy keeping tabs on Eri after Tomotaki and Takano's deaths that they end up ignoring me. Even though they're dead, I'm still in a pretty favorable situation. So do you have any idea who killed them? People in Tokyo are investigating that now. Based on the situation, it's clear that this was done by someone within the organization. Ha ha ha, I guess I'm their prime suspect. You're the only one who could kill Tomotaki like that. That's not true. The people in Tokyo are discussing the possible use of H173, but that drug was destroyed when the research was cancelled. It's impossible. However, they have no choice but to suspect you in this case. Mr. Tomotaki even took a vaccine before he came here, but he still got infected. It must just be an extremely unlikely coincidence. Anyway, it's just impossible. Eri is usually a very calm person, but once the people in Tokyo start suspecting him, he often loses his mind. Do you think Takano might be the culprit? She's someone within the organization. Takano-san? No way. But as he spoke, Eri also started to realize that everything could be explained if Takano was the culprit. But I don't know how to persuade him that that's the truth. More than anything, people want to hear a motive. Now, not who did something, but why. Knowing that probably isn't as important as it sounds. After all, you never know the motive unless the suspect talks. Guessing about the motive is just a waste of time. In other words, it's stupid to assume that Takano isn't the culprit just because I don't know what her motive is. Rika-san, you can't say something like that without any proof. She was very nice to you. How can you suspect her after that? Upon hearing me be ungrateful toward his boss, Okanogi flashed me an unpleasant smile. Here's the thing, Okanogi. You know the truth. So, this is literal gaslighting, you fucking asshole. It's true that Takano was very nice to me, and might be disrespectful of me to suspect her. However, I still can't trust her completely yet. Perhaps I've developed the same bad habit as Oishi. Am I believing every crazy theory I hear just because I'm desperate to escape from my fate? In any case, something bad is going on around here. We all need to be careful. Don't worry. We've received an order to tighten up your security, too. Eri smiled bitterly. For him, their protection wouldn't be too different from stalking. Rika-san, make sure that you don't give up too much information to the police. I think you understand, but you could create a problem if you talk to them about our secrets. He was implying that he'd have to kill anyone I talked to. This isn't the first time they've warned me about this. It's just, what if Takano really is the culprit? If she is, then Okanogi is almost certainly involved too. Then it makes sense that he wouldn't want me to suspect Takano. But that would be horrifying. If Takano is my enemy, then it means all 100 of the fucking armed military soldiers with AK-47s and scientific degrees and military budgets and grenades and tanks are the ones who actually kill me. I don't think I can defeat 100 people, 100 soldiers. I am not Guts from Berserk. I am not the Century Slayer. Then the Mountain Dogs were too. If Takano was my enemy, then the Mountain Dogs were too. This whole clinic is a lion's den. Eri is just a researcher, so he probably wouldn't know what's really going on. The more I thought about it, the more confused I got. Why would Takano do something like this? I thought I'd just convinced myself that the motive shouldn't even matter, but I can't stop thinking about it. Is Takano really behind it all? Am I going as crazy as Oishi just because of how badly I want to solve this mystery? Perhaps the Mountain Dogs are more like wolves looking after a flock of sheep. I've lived for over 100 years. I've never once found out who killed me, and I stayed close to the Eri Institute so that they'd protect me. What if that was my big mistake? Well, I'm sure that Eri had no bad intentions, and many lives I got to see just how genuine his feelings are. I can trust him, however he's not really reliable. Okanogi glanced over at me. He smiled and told me not to worry, but I noticed an evil glint in his eyes. It's possible that I have Hinamizawa syndrome, and that was just an hallucination. I don't understand anything. We can't have Hinamizawa syndrome. We talk to God. I don't even know who my enemies are anymore. There's no point thinking about this any longer. I have to only trust who I know I can trust for sure. And there are only a few of those people, though. Eri, Oishi, and my friends. If Okanogi is on Takano's side, he will be watching me very closely. If I started accusing Takano of anything, who knows what they'd do to me. When this world first began, I thought I had no time left, but that wasn't true. The number of things that happened in just 2 weeks was immense. I probably only have a few more days left until the day of my death. What can I do? How can I change this? Am I supposed to just take Hanyu's advice and resign this time? Where are you right now, Hanyu? Yeah. She's been missing since the night of Tanagashi. Could it be the curse of Oyashiro-sama? It's freaky that this has happened 5 years in a row now. Hinamizawa is a small village. Rumors spread fast here. Besides, she's Mion Sonozaki. She would have found out about this yesterday even if the police were trying to hide it. My friends are all talking about the mysterious death of Tomitaki and the disappearance of Takano. People in this village are very superstitious. No matter what happens, they conclude that everything is the curse of Oyashiro-sama. The past incidents don't matter to me either way. All that matters is the current one. The culprit of this case will probably kill me too. 2 days have passed since Watanagashi. Today is Tuesday, June 21st, 1983. At the earliest, I'll get killed on the night of the 22nd. That is, tomorrow night. The day of my death is always different. I always end up getting killed, but the day when it happens varies. I guess the culprit has their own reasons for that. There's only one thing I'm sure about. Based on my experiences, I'll live for sure until tomorrow night. After then, I'll have to live with the fear of getting murdered at any moment. Still, there's no real reason to be afraid. When I wake up, I'll be in a brand new world again. I can never remember how I'm killed. That's why I'm not afraid of the killing itself. I'm just frustrated that my life is about repeating the same things over and over like a broken record. However, at the present, I'm frustrated. My classmates just expect that their peaceful days will continue forever, but I couldn't feel that way. I just feel frustrated and full of sorrow, as I really don't want to die. It's tomorrow night. Are you ready, Rika? How foolish of you to even ask. What makes it look like I am? Hanya was trying to warn me that I might get killed tomorrow night, as though she already knew it was going to happen for sure. You worked very hard, Rika. You're trying to cheer me up, thank you. This life's Watanagashi was the best festival I've ever had. Didn't you feel that way too? It was fun. It really was fun. Satoko had band-aids all over her face, but everyone was there together, and we kicked up a storm. I want this world to continue forever. I can't accept that this world is going to end tomorrow at the earliest, and within 1 or 2 weeks at the latest. I'm sure your next life will be just as fun. So this world is over and done with? This is such a happy world, but it's just going to end like that? All of my friends are alive and happy. Keiichi doesn't feel alone. And Rena's family is happy too. Mion and Shion are getting along, as well as Shion and Satoko. The issue with Satoko's uncle is resolved, and she's no longer treated coldly by the other villagers. This is the best world I've ever experienced, but this world is going to end? Rika, you think of yourself as a normal person too often, when we're both special beings. Every child wants their birthday to continue forever. I'm glad my son is alive and well and happy and healthy. But I'm currently alienated from him. I haven't seen him in person for over 1.5 years at this point. Heck, he lived with me till not too long after his 3rd birthday. His 3rd birthday was the last year I actually saw him blow out the candles on his cake. I still have the number 3 candle from that cake, as well as the decorations off of it, in my freezer right now. I have 2 years worth of birthday presents and birthday cards and Christmas presents and Christmas card just sitting there that I haven't been able to give him. I pay child support for him, but I haven't been able to see him for over 1.5 years. I miss him. I'll always love him. But that's just the way things work in life. Fucking sucks, though. Don't know whatever he's being told. Whether or not he hates me or what now at this point. I have no idea what's going on or why. I'll say this, at least he's not around his mother. That's good. And at least I'm not around his mother either. I'll say this, I at least tried my best to save that marriage. I'm glad I failed though. If I had succeeded, honestly, me and him would have died. Heck, I still have a 3-inch scar on my right arm to remember last Christmas being married to my ex-wife by. We'll say this, for the first year and a half after the divorce, he was at least coming over on the weekends. Then, the whole COVID pandemic and all that stuff happened. And that threw a little bit of wrench in that. I'd actually gone about a year and a half total there without seeing him during that time. It was actually after 1 year of not being able to see my son that I even started this channel to begin with. I like Let's Plays, and hey, it was a nice emotional outlet. I think it was at least a year after I had started this channel before I even got to see him in person again. Then I was seeing him a few times a year here and there. Birthdays, Christmas, and other things, but never on the actual day of his birthday. But then about a year and a half ago, I bitched about it in my community posts. Heck, when the process of me becoming alienated from my son started happening, I basically mentioned that if I had found out that a nuclear war had happened and a couple billion people died, I would have been less sad about that. I felt very, 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 very upset about that. I will say this, though. At least that first year and a half, way back when I first got divorced, he was at least coming over on the weekends. That being said, when I first got divorced, for the first 5 years, I spent a couple hours a day sitting in my son's room talking to his stuffed animals. Now I only spend about 15 minutes a day in there. And as far as relationships-wise, I haven't dated anyone, period, since my divorce. So, heck, with the exception of my mother, I don't remember what a hug feels like. And I don't think I ever will again. Heck, I make a lot of lewd jokes about stuff. But, heck, even if I ever did meet anybody, I don't think a relationship could work out with anybody at this point. They'd have to deal with an extremely depressed person who, even though I'm always smiling in public and I try to be upbeat and cheerful, and I'm always friendly with people and I'm kind to people, and just because I don't like the idea, I prefer to be polite and kind to people. I'm just not a very aggressive or confrontational person. And of course, you guys get to hear a little bit of a gambit of, well, a whole gamut of emotional expression here. But then again, I'm much more open talking about things here than, heck, I talk more in these Let's Plays than I do the whole rest of my life. Heck, people IRL sometimes think I'm like a robot. They think I don't even have emotions. I tend to be very stoic, and I tend to not really talk about things. I tend to not be very personal. And heck, during most conversations, I'm the person listening more, and I tend to keep conversation off myself. And I'd say if the question's ever asked of me how I'm doing, my answer is always, I'm doing good. When really, that's probably the biggest fucking lie in the world. Then again, I can think of a much bigger lie. That anyone else would actually fucking care.